Hello everybody, welcome to our channel University of Political Science. Today I discuss about aristocracy government with example. What is aristocracy government? Who is now the aristocracy government? Uh, Aristocratic government places political power in a comparatively small part of the population of the state. This small part or group part use people not accept it, small people. This class may be based on birth, wealth, age, military power, priestly power, education, or combination of these and similar distinction. This class, these people, this group, based age, wealth, based on birth, which place is birth, which is father, etc. etc. However, the ruling class may be selected as an aristocracy that mass of the people and excluded from any effective share in government. Many writers from Plato and Aristotle believed the aristocracy as the best form of government, provided that the ruling class was composed of those most component to govern, and that they exercise the power of the God of all and not for their own selfish interest. Some who have of class distinction based on birth and wealth have believed in the natural aristocracy of ability and character, which should exercise a dominant influences in politics, and have believed that government should be organized as a give opportunity for this natural aristocracy to rise to political power in a sense. All government is more or less aristocratic in that a considerable proportion of the population takes no part in its government, that the greater share of government power is concreted in this, and of comparatively small number. The public opinion influence is determined by the leadership of a few. The masses have neither the knowledge nor the time nor the unflagging interest necessary to enable them to rule. The line between aristocracy and democracy is difficult to draw, but the theory of aristocracy has no confidence in the political ability of the masses and believes in the government by the selected few. Meaning of aristocracy. Originally, aristocracy means that the form of government which is introduced by the best of the community and guided in the exercise of authority, and function by the most verse principles such from government come down as from Aristotle. In Greek, mean that the best, and kartos means power. Aristocracy according to group philosopher as a former of government for excellence. Its principle was versus the moral and intellectual superiority of the ruling class, and the versus quality who is the dismantled into those over whom the ruled. Aristocracy has now come to signify the from the government in which the political power stepped in this hand of a small section of the community. But this is not true taste of aristocracy. It is a really oligarch, sometimes with implication of the corrupt few. The character of aristocracy depends on the method of selection of the people who wield power, and this aim the keep in view and not the smallness of the number. The method of selection are various and have been devised in accordance with certain leading idea, which had still private society. First, there is the idea of the importance of birth in primitive society. Family most directly descending from a common and state-constituted class by itself, in which outsiders no attempted accepted perhaps by adoption. In modern society, we do not speak a common ancestor, but we still refer to the nation of the some family are better than other, and consequently they are best fitted into rule. In this second place, selection may be made that person of superior intellect and ability are chosen to govern other. This is aristocracy of intellect. Selection by favor is another method when king confer high rank on those who serve him. That is the method of selection by his family. Again, there may be an aristocracy of will when the selection of only the possession of riches. The poor, whatever be their intellect or merit, have no chance to assume public honor and participate in the public affairs. It has some are born to rule if they happen to inherit wealth of arms of themselves, whereas others to be ruled if the accident of birth of circumstance do not make them fortunate. Zelling has said, emphasizes on the social aspect of aristocracy. He maintained that there is always some social class which is where the dominant power in the state. It may be the priestly class or military class or landed aristocracy. But whatever by the times, power will belong to the social class which is more powerful than the rest, and these classes enjoy certain special privilege with the denied of these classes. Zelling accordingly concluded that is an error to define aristocracy merely as a government by a few. Kind of aristocracy. Aristocracy for Aristotle was a normal form of government. It reverted from was oligarchy, government by the few, that is by the rich for the states. Rousseau divided aristocracy into natural, elective and hereditary. The general basis of classification had been of wealth, of worth, of talent, elected and by culture and education. Some writers have during recent time used the term aristocracy for aristocracy. Aristocracy means that only best type of men wield power. In a sense, a democratic government is more or less aristocratic in that is considerable proportion of the population take no part in government, and the greater share of the governing power is connected in the hand of comparatively small number, the theory of elite. Public opinion is influenced, modeled and shaped by the leadership of the few. The majority party from the government and its leader means the administration. The majority party together with the minority in the legislation enact law. The masses simply elect their representative and leave the rest to the actual administration till they are called upon to elect the rulers again. The line between aristocracy and democracy is therefore difficult to draw, but it must be remembered that aristocracy places no confidence in the ability of business. It is a government of selected few made free, aristocracy of brigade, or aristocracy elected, or aristocracy of talented. Democracy has faith in the ability and capacity of men, and its principle is equality. It accepts man as a man and provides equal opportunity to all to rise to the highest public office in the state. Those all persons who are fit to perform the duty of the citizen can have a share in the direction of the affairs of the state. Merit of aristocracy. On the great merit of aristocracy is that the emphasis is quality, not quantity. It assumes that some are better fitted to government other than other. The governed as they are the best, and the citation of their being based on moral and intellectual superiority who is this possess over others. It is the everlasting privilege, sex, Carlyle, of the furnished to the government by his wise. Aristocracy thus gives us a community ruling class which can be trusted to administrative public affairs with temple, integrity and honor, because they possess a great position independent of politics. These individuals have power of profession usually denied to others. They can see an order in human affairs and they can discern major trends that are obscure, obscure to the generality of their fellow citizens. They rise above emotion and interest and can see the meaning of justice and virtue in a way that other cannot. Aristocracy can also claim superiority over other form of government in respect of stability and effective efficiency, and those can maintain a consistent figures policy both in domestic and foreign relations. John Stuart Mill said that the government which have been remarkable in history for sustained ability and vigor and the conduct of affairs have generally been aristocracies. In this further argued, the aristocracy would remain from the enemies and intermediaries of the power. Burke believed that elite made society and more realistic than the common people, the aristocratic. Her father said has more of the session of shells because the masters himself prosperity will think of this action and enormous cities in the popular majority has no such thought. Support for the aristocracy of breeding define hereditary aristocracy on the ground that genetic inheritance produces superior quality in certain family lines. Weakens of aristocracy, but the able inherit in the all kind of aristocracy is the from sphere interest, which is almost certain to come into conflict with interest of the community. No wise and just principle has so far been decided for the selection of the ruling class, and no safeguard has been suggested to ensure that the few will rule in the interest of all and not for their selfish advantage. The privileged person who are destined to rule from a class of vested interested, and they look on their privilege as a matter which ought to be transmitted unpaid to their successor. Even aristocracy of the best sort degenerate into the class rule. Flushed with the power and authority, they become arrogant and proud and display to urge the classes selected from share in the government in the harsh are greatly which have been the more intolerable because accompanied by the compact. It cannot therefore serve the purpose of the time. It stands for backwardness. Finally, aristocracy stands for pomp and splendor. While this grandeur and dignity eventual use expenditure and extravagances at the very high cost of public good. Thank you everybody.